Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. So what you're looking at here is an actual headline from CNN, the cable news channel of choice for people in airport terminals. CNN, Trump has no plans to claim any personal responsibility for inciting serial bomber. Just in case you forgot, yes, you are in real life. As far as we know, this is not a simulation. This is supposedly America's nonpartisan, neutral, objective cable news network. The contempt these people have for their viewers' intelligence is pretty breathtaking, I gotta say. I always knew that the mainstream media was totally biased, but they used to be more subtle about it. Now they're just tossing aside the triple-digit IQ demographic entirely. Let me translate this headline into its practical meaning. The president has no plans to take responsibility for some unknown person sending bombs that didn't work and were probably never meant to work to political figures who have everything to gain from looking like a victim less than 2 weeks away from an election. You know, idiots talk about Trump being on the wrong side of history. You know, he's sexist, he's racist, all of that. CNN is on the wrong side of history. How do you think this is going to look to everyone in 20 years? Of course, people with more than 3 brain cells to rub together are already acutely aware of the absurdity of the mainstream media in the Trump era. But in the not-so-distant future, the people who bought into this crap are going to be embarrassed. This generation's children will look back at this headline and about 75% of all CNN headlines and laugh their asses off. And thank God that they don't live in the bad old days. First of all, this headline is saying that Trump is inciting violence. That's one of the headline's many ridiculous assumptions. Trump has never incited violence against George Soros. He's never incited violence against Hillary Clinton. He's never incited violence against Robert De Niro. He's never incited violence against Barack Obama. He's never incited violence against Joe Biden. He has harshly criticized them. He has called CNN an enemy of the people. And where's the lie? That is not inciting violence, you fucking charlatans. In fact, if anyone's inciting violence, it's the quote-unquote left. I say quote-unquote left because I don't want to insult the millions of honest liberals and socialists who don't buy into this crap. And I personally don't consider reactionary neoliberal corporatists leftists. You got Hillary Clinton saying that we can't be civil with the other side. You got college professors calling for people to be castrated. You got people in Congress giving out senators' personal addresses. And you got Maxine Waters telling her supporters to harass people in restaurants and gas stations, just to name a few off the top of my head. There are a lot more. If Trump is inciting violence by criticizing his political opponents, what the hell are you doing? CNN, the Democratic Party, reactionary neoliberal corporatists. You might not remember this, but Susan Collins was sent ricin after she voted to confirm Kavanaugh. You might not remember it because it didn't get 1/100th of the news coverage that this is getting. Where was CNN then? Was CNN running headlines that read, Hillary Clinton refuses to take responsibility for inciting violence? Fox News didn't run that headline. InfoWars didn't run that headline. InfoWars is more credible than CNN and far more entertaining. How about the Scalise shooting? In that case, a Bernie Sanders supporter, someone we know was a Bernie Sanders supporter, shot and nearly killed Steve Scalise. Where was the outrage then? Bernie Sanders called for a revolution and said that the Republicans would kill millions of people. That's not inciting violence, but it's a hell of a lot closer to inciting violence than anything Donald Trump said about Hillary Clinton, George Soros, John Brennan, or any of the other people who were targeted. And the Scalise shooter specifically said at the shooting that he was doing it for healthcare. And just as a side note, this really exposes the idiocy of the idea that Bernie Sanders is an actual threat to the system. He isn't. Donald Trump is. We have no idea who sent these devices. And CNN is presuming that it was a Trump supporter and that Trump bears responsibility for inciting violence. How would CNN react if a man of Middle Eastern descent, who is known to be a devout Muslim, did a mass shooting and ISIS claim responsibility for it? Absent any other information, they would not say that it was an act of Islamist terrorism, despite the fact that it almost certainly would be. Finally, CNN has dismissed the most realistic motive for these incidents as a conspiracy theory, something that whack jobs who think George Bush is a reptile believe in. It is very likely that whoever sent these packages was a Democrat supporter. It's less than 2 weeks before the midterm election, and the Democrats have absolutely everything to gain from appearing as the victim. Given that, why isn't Fox News, which is supposedly a Trumpist propaganda network, saying Hillary Clinton refuses to take responsibility for inciting a false flag? That would actually be more reasonable than what CNN is doing. Fox News wouldn't do that because they haven't gone off the fucking deep end, but the reactionary, neoliberal corporatists who support the Democratic Party have. CNN is 100% fake news, and I thank God that they have much less influence than they think they have. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Gab and Minds.com. This channel, like any channel, could be terminated at any time for any reason, and it's important to have a couple backups. Thanks for watching.